Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Steve. Today we're going to talk about eggs. I've heard there's been tremendous shortages, price increases, and so forth, but you know what? It has not affected us here. And as you can see, I'm sitting on a literal mountain of eggs. Why? Well, we have some delightful chickens here. Kylo Han is laying us these beautiful blue eggs. Then we have Cookie and Butter laying us these brown eggs. And they're doing a great job, and it is actually not that difficult to do. So this is the beginning of a multi-part series. Today we're going to talk about chicken coops and how to house your chickens and some other basic details. It's kind of a beginner's guide. And then we will move on in future videos to talk about other issues such as predators, what to feed them, where to get your chickens, how to raise them from chicks, and so forth. So luckily, these are all things that even I can do. We have a coop that is a hybrid of a prefabricated kit. From this point to the left, that's a prefabricated kit. You can get these kits online at the local feed stores. They come in all shapes and sizes, some really fancy, others more basic. And then we added some additional square footage just to conform to the space we had available. Now we built this thing in a raised planter. Which provided a very notable help with our predators. So one side has a block wall, the other side has a raised planter wall here. So very difficult for the intruders to penetrate underneath the coops because of that. And then we only had to deal with the left and the right side of the coop in terms of burrowing underneath. All right, the first question most people ask is, how big of a coop do I need? Now, the general rule of thumb is 4 square feet per chicken, and that is referring to the chicken house that they live in. So this is what we call the house, where and we open it up. This is where they live at night. They'll come in and settle themselves down on their roosting bars. This again should be 4 square feet per bird. Now we're under that. What happened was we had 2 birds, and I think at that point we were good. But one of the birds died, Mrs. Cluckington passed away, and we added 2 new chickens. And we wanted to bring 2 in at the same time to give them a little bit better chance against the bigger chicken that was already in here. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but anyway, we wanted to raise them to the 2 chickens together from chicks, which we did, and then we added them to the coop. Everybody seems to be getting along. We don't see any fights, no one's pecking at each other. But if you get too crowded in there, that is something that you need to look for. If they feel squished in there, they might you might see more efforts to dominate the other birds, and that can result in some injuries. So keep an eye out for that. The other thing is the nesting boxes. How many of those do you need? The recommendation is 1 for every 3 birds. So we're good in that. We have two nesting boxes, and interestingly, they all lay in the same box. Even though we have 2, we'll find 3 eggs all piled up in just the one side. I don't know why they do that. In fact, originally they were all laying in the outside box. And then all of a sudden, one day, they switched to the other box, and ever since then, we've been finding the eggs all piled up in there. That's just what they do. Okay, roosting bars. The chickens like to roost on these at night, and they should have about 10 inches per bird, 10 to 12 inches. So for 3 birds, we need 30 inches. We have about 36. Ideally, we'd have more. I think this house is best for 2 birds. 3 birds is a little bit tight. I'd go bigger if you have 3 or 4 birds. Now, we like this coop. My daughter did a lot of research on it. We had another coop before this, and it lacks some of the features that we find so helpful here, especially access to this area here. Cleaning inside here is a real pain when you can't get in with a big door like this. But with that said, roosting bar wise, I would like to see a house with a roosting bar elevated somewhat, like this perhaps. But you know, in much of the research we did, a lot of the prefabricated coops came with the roosting bars down fairly low. And I think that's just because with the nesting box where it is, there's not a place for it to connect, I suppose. Anyway, we like this coop. It's been a great coop. It's lasted with the wood and many good features, but if you can find one that does some of these other things or build one yourself, more power to you. So this particular box has a little door here that you can close at night if you want to. If it's cold, they might like that. Then you just push this through, and it locks them in there at night. We used to keep them locked up in there, but it didn't really seem to be necessary, and especially in the summertime when it's warmer, I don't think they want that closed, so we leave it open. One thing that's nice about this particular coop, the way it came, is that there's a lot of ways to get in it. So as you can see, we drop this down. We can close it back up. It also has a little window here if you want to look inside. Alternatively, you can go in through the top. The roof also opens. And originally, this back part where the nesting boxes are also opened up. But we ended up nailing that shut and putting a little bit stronger wood on there, as the wood did not last forever. So it no longer opens and closes, but we have lots of other access, so I don't think it's an issue. Another feature of this coop is that you have a tray at the bottom that you can slide out. And this comes all the way out, so if you wanted to clean it, you could take it out, hose it down. We don't do that very often, but every once in a while, just to get some of the bigger chicken poop off of there, we do it. Access though through this main door is really our primary go-to way of doing things. We can refill it with straw very easily this way, and sweep out all the dirt pretty regularly. All right, so we were talking about the chicken house. Now let's talk about the chicken run. Now that's the area outside of the house that runs down below, where they have an opportunity to forage. They can have their water down there and their food supply. And that should be about 10 square feet per bird. So we have 3 birds, 30 square feet. We actually have about 35 square feet. So we're just right in there. Again, this is something where you bigger the better. And if I could, I'd make this longer. I may ultimately add on. But for now, we are at the minimum. If you don't have a run, if the birds don't have access to get out of their main house, then the main house needs to be much larger, 10 square feet per bird, and that is an absolute minimum. Otherwise, they're going to be unhappy, and you're not going to have happy birds, which means possible aggressive birds, possibly fewer eggs. So right now we have just a very lightweight tarp on the coop, and this is really just to keep the sun out. I don't want them to get too hot in there, and this time of year it's not too bad, but so it's just really light. If it's raining, we throw a heavier tarp that's water resistant, but for now we have this. If you don't need it, if it's cold, that just pulls off, and then you can have all the sun stream in there and keep the chickens warm if you have a colder climate. When we built this, again, this right here was the original coop, and we expanded it. Everything to the right is we built ourselves, and we built it so that it would be easy to clean. So everything opens up nice here, so I can climb in here. And we are like all the way in here, and we can clean out in here really effectively if we need to. The chickens do a pretty good job of turning the soil in here and pooping, which is really good for the soil. So from time to time we'll scoop all the dirt out of here and put it in buckets, and then use it for planting around the yard, and then we'll bring some of the other lousy soil in and dump it in here instead, and let the chickens go back to work on it. So a couple things about where you're going to build your coop. First of all, consider where the sun rises and falls. This side of the house gets less sun in the afternoon when it's really hot. Initially, we built the coop on the other side of the house, and there's 2 problems with that. One, the afternoon sun, as I mentioned, beat right down on the chickens. And then the other issue was that there was no soil there, so we built it right on top of the concrete. Then we had to use newspaper to keep it somewhat clean. It just wasn't working, and we ended up relocating it to this side where we could put it in the planter. Had to cut down a couple trees, but that's okay. We still get some shade, and they can go to work right on the soil, which is nice. We also planted right around the outside of the coop some rosemary, which is a natural way to keep the flies down. All right, so a couple other construction notes here. So first of all, I didn't want the bare wood of the coop sitting right in the soil, especially the original construction, which is this non-treated wood that will easily rot away if it's exposed to damp and mud and so forth. So I wanted everything raised up on stone. So I took these blocks from Home Depot that are used to build those decorative walls, and we set everything on top of that, so nothing is actually sitting directly in the soil. The other thing we did is we laid underneath the stone some wire mesh, and the reason we did that is we do have a lot of predators in the area. There's raccoons, skunks, snakes, coyotes, and so forth. So I wanted to secure the coop as much as I could to prevent both anything getting in through a traditional way, but also from digging under the coop and trying to come in underground. So that mesh that we have underneath there should stop that. So far we've been here at least, let's see, 2-3 years, and we have not had anything get in the coop, knock on wood. Now, of course, one of the consequences of building the coop on top of that stone is it raised everything. So consequently, the little ramp that the chickens use to get to their nesting box also needed to have a little step so that they could get up onto it, and so that the ramp did not go too much perpendicular to the nesting box. So here we have a log inside their coop, and that's the only purpose for that is to give them something interesting to do. They like to perch themselves, so we'll come over here and you'll find all 3 chickens sitting on this little log. Here is their water supply, and what we've done here is taken some old sand buckets, emptied them, cleaned them out really thoroughly, and then bought a couple of these water serving things, and I put some links for those down below. And that way we have a good supply of water. Rarely runs out if we're on top of it. And then, of course, we need a food supply. So this container provides quite a bit of food. This will last at least several days, if not longer. And you can hang it as well. It does have a hook, but we usually just have it sitting in the coop on this stone or on the ground directly. Okay, a couple other quick considerations. At the bottom of your coop, you can certainly put down some hay, and they like that just in terms of moving it around. It gives them something to do. I think there is a little bit for them to eat in here as well. They'll peck at it. If you have a hay supply, though, make sure you put it in containers that the mice can't get into, because as much as the chickens like living in it, so do the mice. Next, there is a possibility that your chickens could get some pests in there. You might have some ants. They also get little bugs that get into their feather system. This diametric earth, we spread it on the bottom of the coop, and this is real good at helping clean the chicken. You'll find the chickens digging themselves deep into the soil and taking a dust bath. And with this in there, it helps keep them clean, because it kills a lot of the pests that get into their feather system. Now, I'd love for the chickens to be outside all day long, but the problem is this area is rife with predators. We have coyotes that could jump the fence behind me very easily, and we also have hawks up in the sky. The chickens keep an eye out for the hawks. You'll see them looking up to the sky with one of their eyes, and frequently they will be under cover of something. Like right now, they're under this chair. They feel safer there because they know nothing can get them from the sky. Chickens sleep at night. Most predators are nocturnal, so they're the ones that are out and about while the chickens are sleeping. I think the chickens will keep an eye open, and they have a defense mechanism built in, but it's best that we keep them as safe as we can when they're not quite as alert as they are in the daytime. So this particular house has 4 latches. 1, 2, and then these 2 arms block its opening as well. And you have to hold them open, otherwise they'll fall back down like that. So that's very difficult for a raccoon to circumvent. They would need a team of master raccoon thieves like Ocean's 11 in order to get into this particular part of the coop. All right, so for the original kit, we had just one access door here, and that was with this little latch right here. And we added a second latch, and that's because raccoons are very, very clever. And this latch, I wasn't 100% certain it was good enough. I thought they might be able to manipulate it open. It is one of the little slightly trickier ones, because you have to move it up and then slide it over at the right time. But we decided to add another latch with a lock. The nice thing about this particular lock is you can set it to any combination you want. Now, what I would recommend is that you don't pick something that's easy, like 1, 2, 3, or your birthday or something like that, because those are the first things that raccoons will try, and you'll have them inside your coop in no time. All right, I've designed this so that we have a lot of access to it, so we can get in there and keep it clean. And on top here is the latch to open up the roof. So here again we have one of our standard slide bolts, which I again am not 100% confident on. So I added a hook and eye latch as well, and this hook and eye has a spring-loaded catch, which is again a little bit more tricky, and the raccoons have a little bit more trouble with it. One thing about the walls of the coop, we're using 1/2-inch hardware cloth, not chicken wire. Chicken wire, even though it's called that, is not really good for chickens. It's good at corralling them, but in terms of protecting them, doesn't help. Hardware cloth is what you want. We have that on all the walls, and we have it in the underground leading up to the coop so that nobody can dig under and get in. When you're attaching your hardware cloth, they don't want you to use staples. That's another thing that raccoons are good at just defeating. They can just pull the wire straight off. Now, we use staples here in most of the places because that's what came with the kit. But I was very careful to put the staples on the inside. So you can see here that if you were to try to pull this away, you're not going to be able to pull the staples out of the framing as easily as if the staples were on the other side. So they're all on the inside of the coop to add a little bit of security. But if you can, use screws or nails to keep those in there more securely. One thing to consider is the weather in your area. We here in Southern California won't get a lot of rain, so to me it wasn't that big of an issue. But if you do live in an area where there's a lot of rain, think about how the roof is going to be on your run. Here you can see we're using hardware mesh along most of the top. So the only shelter is really the chicken house itself, and then we have a little bit of cover over on the other end. Now, we don't, again, get a lot of rain, so when it happens, we throw a big tarp over the top of the whole coop and keep them dry. But if you're getting a lot of rain, you're going to want to have more of your run covered so that they can stay dry. So one of the nice things about chickens is they're actually pretty easy to train, at least in terms of getting them back in their coop. When they know I have grubs, they'll come running. All they have to do is make a little clucking noise. And here they are. Missing one. Here she comes. And they'll just follow me back to the coop. Let's go, girls. And here we come. That's all we have for today. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, a like is always nice. Ask any questions you might have about chickens down in the comments. Between myself and my daughter, we might be able to answer it. And it will help us in terms of what our future videos will look like. We do plan on making a few more of these. We're going to talk about where do you get chickens in the first place? Why are my chickens not laying eggs? Why is my chicken doing this unusual thing? What should they eat? What should they not eat? I'm going to cover all that stuff in future videos. So again, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, this has been Steve for things that even I can do.